Hi, my name is Kareem George, and I'm the principal of Culture Traveler. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I am pleased to have my friend and colleague Vinita Bhatia with us from TCS World Travel. Hello, Vinita.
Hi, Kareem. How are you? Good.
I'm good. How are you?
It's good to see you.
Nice to see you too. This week, as you know, we've been focusing on year-end dreaming and all of our social media. And there certainly is a pent-up demand from all of us wanting to travel. And villas and private homes are trending and are really of interest to people. They want to get together, they want to be with their families, but they still want to be safe. They still want to control the environment. And we were speaking earlier this week, and I had no idea that TCS had a private homes program. So thank you so much for taking the time relatively last minute to talk to us because I'm so excited for our travelers to know about this program.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's very new, and to your point, it's kind of born out of this time of COVID that we're in, where people are anxious to travel but limited in how they can do it. So we're really excited about it, and I'm thrilled to be able to share it today.
Super, super. So first though, I think many of our listeners maybe are not familiar with TCS. So could you spend just a few minutes talking about TCS, who you are, before we go into the homes?
Absolutely. I will just share my screen quick and show you a few quick overview slides if that's okay,
Oh, perfect.
and and then turn it back to you.
That would be
So you're right. So Kareem, to your point, TCS World Travel is not a household name, and we're a very niche luxury travel product. And so it's always helpful to just give a little orientation and context into who we are and how we travel, because it really carries through to any trip that we operate. It's the same level of service and experience that we bring. So again, just to give you a little idea of who we are, for those of you who've never heard of TCS at all, we've actually been around for nearly 30 years. So over 25 years, we've been the leader in luxury jet tours around the world. And that's really how we started, was these scheduled jet expeditions. And the idea was that people have a lot of curiosity about the world. They love to travel. A lot of places they want to go to are a little more difficult to get to. And sometimes they have curiosity, but aren't necessarily as comfortable going on their own. So the way that TCS started was really connecting some of these difficult to get to destinations with a lot of rich cultural experiences, and doing that with really high levels of service every step of the way. So that's who we are at a very high level. And we give our guests two main ways to travel with us. So I mentioned the jet expeditions, and that's really how we started. That's on the left. So our group jet expeditions are scheduled dates of departure. So we have around 20 or so itineraries that we operate every year. Not in this year, because 2020 is not the year for travel, but in a normal year, we take guests on these trips around the world in groups of anywhere from around 48 to 64. And we do that on these customized, luxurious aircraft with a fully dedicated staff every step of the way. The
great.
second way, I'm sorry.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
I'll spend a little more time talking about that in the next couple of slides, but the other option that we provide is private custom travel, which I think the name kind of explains itself. But this group was really born out of people who had taken our jet expeditions and then came back and said, "We love this. Can you do a safari for my family?" Or, "I'm going to do a family heritage trip around Ireland," which is a real example. And for trips like this, we have a team of dedicated consultants that will create a bespoke itinerary to our guest preferences, no matter how they want to travel, when they want to travel. So those are really the two main ways that our guests travel with us.
Mhm.
Very quickly, just to give you some more context onto the jet expeditions, because that's really what we've been known for typically, is I mentioned that you travel on this customized aircraft. We fly into private air terminals, FBOs. We don't have layovers. So our expertise is in the operations of any trip. It's really about maximizing every minute on the ground, minimizing the time that you're in transfers or waiting at airports, reducing jet lag. We don't have any overnight flights. We want our guests to be very well rested for their touring the next day, so they are sleeping in a luxurious hotel bed every single night of the trip.
Mhm.
Next year, we are launching a brand new aircraft, which we're very excited about, and you can see a couple images on the right.
Oh,
These new Airbus 321s. So commercially, that jet will hold 195 people. We've reconfigured the jet to hold anywhere from 48 first class seats to 64 business class seats. So depending on the itinerary that you choose, you'll be on one configuration. We are the operating partner for the Four Seasons private jet experience, which is how people tend to know us more. And the image on the bottom right is actually the lounge in the new Four Seasons jet. So that is how we travel. And you can imagine traveling commercially right now in particular is something people are a little weary of.
Sure.
And being able to fly on this jet with a small group and a fully dedicated staff makes that so much easier. And so, when you travel with us, we think of every pain point. The idea is to eliminate all the thinking and just make it simple. So you're in small groups on the ground, you have private access. Imagine touring the Hermitage Museum when it's closed to the public, or having a private dinner on the Great Wall of China. These are moments that we create through every itinerary. We fill out the customs forms. Our pricing is all inclusive. So you're not even handing out money for gratuities. We take care of all of it. We have an expedition team that makes sure you're exactly where you need to be. We have a physician, which is always important, but more so now than ever.
Sure.
We have an 8-member flight crew, a chef, someone carrying your luggage. And then we have a guest services manager that will work with you, Kareem, and the clients managing all of their requests before departure. So the visas that they need, the inoculation lists, any dietary restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
So we do make it a very all-encompassing white glove experience for our guests. Before we jump into private travel, I'll turn it back to you just to give you a quick orientation into the second option. The private custom travel is that group that does the itineraries that are completely bespoke. I mentioned before, they're really not cookie cutter. So this is for groups of any size. I mentioned we did the family of 28 around Ireland on a family heritage tour. We include 5-star properties where available, transfers, guides, these exclusive experiences. So this image on the bottom right is one of my favorites. This was a group that went to Bolivia. It was a group of friends, and they had this private lunch in the salt flats with a local artist who set up this exhibition for them. And similar to our jet expeditions, yeah, we create these once in a lifetime moments, and there's support along the way. We can do commercial air, private air, yachts. Obviously, we're going to talk about villas in a minute. Babysitting, whatever it is you want, that's the conversation we have with you, Kareem, and your clients to create that perfect itinerary.
Super, that's great. So for those of you that are just joining us now, I'm with my colleague Vanita Bhatia from TCS World Travel, and we're going to soon talk about their fantastic new private homes program. But she was just giving us an overview on TCS and how they've been the leader in private jet travel for years and years and years. So thank you for that, Vanita. And now let's talk about the homes. I'm so excited to hear about this new program.
We are very excited as well. And so I will move on to that section. So, again, the name is pretty intuitive, but the Private Homes Plus program is part of our custom travel team. And this is a new program for us, but obviously, as we're all knowing right now, people want to travel. Private homes and villas is one of the optimal ways to do that in the midst of the pandemic. We foresee this program being one that will operate for a long time because the idea of being in a private home is very appealing regardless, but particularly now more than ever. And so we are working with a select number of partners to have this portfolio of homes where you're going to get the level of service that our guests will always expect. So we have vetted these homes to ensure that whatever services our guests might ask for, they're available to them.
Great.
So if you want babysitting, if you want a massage, a chef, whatever that is, and we will work with you, Kareem, as their advisor to arrange all of that, the private jet if they want it, whatever excursions. Again, it's a curated itinerary that's tailored to their preferences.
Fantastic.
So I'm just going to give you a few examples of homes because honestly, I could show pictures of the homes for days. They're absolutely beautiful, but we don't have all day. And so just talking a little bit about some of the destinations that tend to be more popular, particularly now. Obviously, US ski is very popular. It's that time of year, but furthermore, you can be outside. Whether or not you ski, you're very removed from the masses and the homes are spectacular. So we do have a lot of homes in those ski destinations out west. So this is a home in Aspen that we love. It is in the foothills of the Red Mountain. Obviously, as I say on the slide, it sleeps 8 people. There are 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. The views are absolutely stunning, and it is just really well designed. So the home has a media room, it has a built-in barbecue, it has heated floors. Uh,
Wow.
you can see this beautiful wraparound balcony and this gigantic kitchen. So, this is one that we really, really like. And again, with this home, if you were to want a chef to be there all the time, if you were to want someone to come in, this is part of the itinerary process where we develop it to what you want. Um, and
Great.
what I should mention is that, with the homes that we offer, there's no minimum stay requirement. I know with a lot of other options, you might have to do 7 days or 4 days. We will create an itinerary around however many days you're looking to stay.
Wow, that's so uncommon. And I know many of our listeners have, rented properties through a variety of sources or through, real estate agents even. And there typically is a minimum stay. So it's great that there's that level of flexibility. That's really wonderful.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I know that's a big sticking point sometimes when you just want to get away for a long weekend and there's a 7 day requirement. So I think that's a huge benefit for sure.
Wow.
The next home is in North Lake Tahoe. So just another option, but this home is obviously beautiful as well. I think it's really lovely being on the lake. So this is in North Tahoe. This home sleeps 10 people in 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. So you can see the colors are just very light and airy. I think Tahoe is a fantastic destination, whether it's skiing in the winter or obviously in the summer as well. So we love this house. It's very close to North Star California Ski Resort. Obviously, there's a lot of hiking nearby. There's a lot of outdoor activities. So you can walk out to paddle boarding, to kayaking,
Great.
a lot of beautiful options regardless of the time of year. And my personal favorite is the outdoor jacuzzi. I always love that. But
Yes.
anyway, you can see the home is really beautifully appointed and just very group friendly.
Looks wonderful. I mean, look at all the light coming in. It's great.
It is so nice. Yeah, we do really love this home. But again, all the homes, it becomes very difficult to actually narrow down which homes I wanted to show today because they're all so beautiful. And we will share any photos and talk through the configurations with your clients as they're looking to decide. But it's kind of like asking to pick your favorite child at some point. All the homes are really beautiful.
Yeah.
So moving on to planning your trip, I showed Lake Tahoe, I showed Aspen, but there are so many other destinations. And like we were talking about before, like it's really about, the footprint is pretty large. These are some of the more popular destinations, but we will work with you to determine where they want to go and what's the optimal destination. But if you're going to go to, Big Sky, Montana or Jackson Hole, we have homes in all of those destinations. And then those special experiences are really what makes it special and different. So yes, you can go and stay in the home all day, every day if you want. But if you want to do something really special for the group, we have options for that too. Here are just a few. So, doing the dog sledding, privately guided, doing heli-skiing, if that's something that you're interested in, the sleigh ride. I mean, they're just really magical. And, if we're going to have to be cold, we might as well do it really nicely and in style. And it's obviously really charming.
I know I've wanted to do dog sledding for so long, and on my bucket list is the Iditarod at some point. So this could be like the starter for people like me who want to do the Iditarod. It's like start in Colorado where it's not, negative a bazillion degrees and have
Correct.
the experience, and then graduate to
Just
to something.
dip your toe in Colorado, and then we'll talk about Alaska because we can do that in Alaska too, by the way.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So again, beautiful homes, great destinations. Certainly ask us if you want to learn more about any of the homes that we offer. So
Great.
moving on to give you a little bit of a dichotomy is Mexico, because I personally love Mexico so much for so many reasons. The culture, the food, you've got the beach, you've got the city, and Palmilla is just a really lovely town. And this home I chose because I just love how airy and big and bright it feels.
Mhm.
This beautiful outdoor fire pit and the infinity pool. I love this bedroom on the bottom right where you can it's like sort of indoor outdoor.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I know it's so nice. I wish I was there right now. So this this home sleeps 12. It is 6 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms. And again, it's Palmilla itself is a really charming town. It's not too far from Cabo. but there's this outdoor fire pit that we love. There's an outdoor cinema in this home as well. So if you want to watch your movies al fresco with a cocktail in hand, you can do that also.
Very cool.
Yeah. The next home I wanted to show is also beautiful. This is in Cabo, Los Cabos. So it's not too far from Palmilla, but the home is a little bit different because, of course, it's just very, very colorful and it's also on the beach. So this is a much larger home. This home sleeps 20. So if you're going with a larger group, this is probably a much better option. So this home is, you can see it is just absolutely massive.
Yes.
It's indoor, but you know, it's very colorful and large, but I think it's also still very, very tasteful. So I do love this home a lot. And you know, it's not too far from the town of Cabo. You can sit, but it still feels very private.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
if
like
you
you
look,
said,
if you look at
perfect
that,
for a
yeah.
large group. So this is an opportunity where really you truly could take the whole family. For most for most families, 20 people would
Yes.
almost have everyone participating, which would be fantastic to all
And
be.
maybe not even have to interact. The house is that large, depending on your family dynamic. You know, you never know what people are looking for. But no, I agree. And I think what's nice too is that the home does feel very private, but because it's, closer to the town of Cabo, there are still activities. So you can go into town, you can do a catamaran ride, you can go out to eat. All of those options are there.
Great.
So again, similar to the ski destinations, we service a lot. We can travel to many destinations within Mexico as well. And I have the list here. You can read it, but anywhere from Punta Mita, Los Cabos. I love Sayulita. It's such a charming little town. San Miguel, which is inland, but just really eclectic and fun and charming. Mexico City, which is one of my favorite international destinations. I love Mexico City for the culture and the food, and there's so much to do. So the options are truly limitless. In terms of experiences, again, just a sample, there's so much to do in Mexico, but a private wine tasting, doing a whale shark expedition, which I would probably be too scared to do, but for those that are interested, that is an option. A sunrise or sunset hot air balloon ride. I mean, we just really try to create these moments that are truly magical. And I think these are just a few of those.
Well, I'm so glad you spoke about Mexico. I love it too. And for those of us that are starting to travel again and that are maybe starting domestically, really the next step for many people is Mexico or the Caribbean. So it's really great to know that as we get more comfortable, we can take those direct flights internationally to Mexico City or to Puerto Vallarta. So this is wonderful to know.
Awesome. Yeah, the beauty of Mexico, I mean, again, besides the fact that I just love Mexico and the culture and all that, but it is so easily accessible.
Mhm.
I live in New York. I mean, it's a 3.5 hour flight to Cancun. It's really not far to the Yucatan Peninsula. So
Yeah,
it's accessible. It's not too far. It's a great option as we start slowly getting back out into international travel, knowing that there are options where you can get variety of city and beach and whatever. I mean, it's just nice to try to do something new as we've all been stuck in our homes for the last 9 months.
yes. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
So lastly, these are just a few other photos, but we get a lot of questions about where do you have homes? And the answer is it's really more of a dialogue. Like we have a lot of homes in Southern California, in Hawaii, in Florida, the northeast of the US, like you think like Nantucket and Cape Cod, the Midwest. But these are just also homes where people tend to travel to for vacation. So we have a higher concentration. But the answer, if you ask me the question, like, where do you have homes? I would say, where is it that you want to go? Who are you traveling with? Is it children? Is it adults? What are the types of activities that you enjoy? And this is where Kareem, we work together to really come up with that recommendation of like, here are the destinations that we think would be best. Here are the homes that we think would be best. And it's about ensuring that everyone is in the right home for them.
Great.
All the things they want to do are available to them.
Mhm. That's such an interesting point. And one of the questions that has come through already in the chat is there a list of all the homes or all the destinations? And I think all of us are used to, going through these listings and sorting through listing after listing and narrowing it down. And I I'm spoiled, but I love this approach of starting with what you want, starting with what's best for you, and then knowing that me and you are gonna work to find it. So
Correct. I think that's the thing. You know, we know that there's obviously sites out there where you can book a home, and that's fine. I think it really depends on what you're looking for. But for us, the way that we think about planning any trip is ensuring that it's the right guest on the right trip on the right itinerary. Even when it comes to our jet expeditions, a TCS trip is very different than a Four Seasons trip. They're both amazing, but they're different. And so we want to ensure that we have that conversation so that people are having the experience that they want. And after not really being able to travel for most of 2020, don't we all want just the most incredible vacation? And so that's where it comes in for us, is that conversation. And we also offer flexibility too. So I did want to mention that because of the times that we're in and because of the fluidity of the COVID situation, if you book a private custom trip with us, up until 15 days before departure, you have the ability to cancel, and you can get the full amount of your trip as a future travel credit with us.
great.
And you can go to the original destination you wanted to go to, or we can go somewhere else. It's just retained as a travel credit. But I wanted to mention that because I know that, you know, different companies have different policies, but we wanted to ensure that we have a lot of flexibility for our guests right now, because some people don't have that comfort in traveling, or destinations are changing in terms of their level of safety. So we recognize that.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really glad you brought up that point. And you know, the other thing, and you started out by talking about this with the background of TCS, but it's great that the full experience can be managed, including the air. So the private air, like you were saying, there are many of us that are not comfortable still doing commercial flights, or maybe we're comfortable with shorter commercial flights, but not longer commercial flights. And it's great to know that literally it can be door to door, where you have the air managed, private air to the villa. And then obviously, you know, another question is cleaning protocols and all of that stuff. And I know that TCS has the highest standards for those safety protocols in light of COVID.
Absolutely. And so, you know, on the jet expedition side, we're not operating any trips right now because every trip goes to 8 countries in some cases, and every country is different. And so, as the situation is changing, we want to ensure that we have the most up to date and readily available protocol in place so that our guests are very safe. And that comes down to the hotels we stay in, to the jet itself, to the transfers, to the tours. So, you know, we're going to continue those later next year. But in terms of the homes, that was absolutely part of our vetting process with the partners that we work with, is ensuring that those houses are thoroughly sanitized, that there's a cleaning service coming in, and making sure that everyone is safe and comfortable. And you know, one thing you mentioned, Karim, that was really, that I'm glad you brought up, was the private jet. So obviously we can arrange anything you want. You want commercial air, we can do yachts as well. Like I mentioned that earlier too, if you want to do a private yacht. But in terms of private air, one of the things that TCS has expertise in is private jets. And so, you know, if you're a group of 4, but you have golf clubs, or if you're a group of, you know, 10, but you have ski equipment, it's going to change the type of plane that you need if you want to fly privately. And because we have the knowledge, we can ensure that the partner that we're working with gives the right jet for the right price. And there are, you know, the FAA standards for how private jets can fly. Ours are even harder than that. So the jets that our guests fly on have additional levels of requirements for safety. And so, you know, you don't have to fly privately, but if that's something you want to do, we can absolutely do that. And just know that it's something that we have a lot of knowledge in.
Mhm. Fantastic. Fantastic. For those of you just joining us, we're unfortunately coming to the end of our conversation with my colleague Vinita Bhatia from TCS World Travel. We've been learning all about their new private homes program, which is fantastic, offering a variety of destinations in the US, but also abroad. And I guess we're just down to a final few questions, Vanita, and I think you've answered many of them. We already spoke about a variety of homes. So there are larger homes, there are smaller homes, homes that are more for 6 or for 8 people. No minimum stays, which is huge, really, really great to know. There are homes as well in the southern US. So we highlighted ski, but good to know that southern US and West Coast are options. And are destinations like, Charleston or Orange County, California, uh, are those options where there are a variety of homes as well?
Absolutely. So I know Orange County, we have homes. I feel pretty comfortable saying Charleston as well. We just sent a family to Hilton Head. Again, I don't have the exhaustive list in front of me, but I can certainly check and let you know about Charleston. That's a specific ask. But,
Mhm.
I would say more broadly, let's have the conversation of where you want to go and we'll find a home for you with the partners that we work with. So Hilton Head is an example where that wasn't on our standard list of like send people here, but someone wanted to go and we were able to find them a home there.
Mhm. And then another question that came in, Vanita, and I think you already answered it, but Caribbean. Are there
Mhm.
options in the Caribbean? Great.
There certainly are options in the Caribbean as well. And again, I don't have a list of islands off the top of my head, but similar, as I've said before, we can certainly share that with you. If there's a place in particular you want to go,
Mhm,
make that request and we'll see what options are available there.
mhm.
Or if you just know you want to go to the Caribbean, we can ask the right questions for you and then share some options with you. And as I said before, it could be a home, but don't forget the idea of a privately chartered yacht. That is also a phenomenal way to travel, particularly in the
It
Caribbean.
sure
So,
is.
I mean, there's nothing more private than that, right?
Yep, yep. And also, I mean, I'm looking into the crystal ball here, but I'm just so excited about this program. Do you see this growing to more international destinations? So Europe, South America, Australia, is that again
Mhm.
where
Yeah,
you?
and we can do that today, actually. I mean, I'm focusing really on the US and North America primarily just because of the limitations on where we can travel. But, I know there are certain countries you are able to travel to. So we have those options available today. Absolutely.
Perfect,
Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again so much for your time. It's always great to see you, and I really appreciate that you're giving our travelers and our listeners information hot off the press with this new program. So, again, for all of you that tuned in this evening, thank you so much. We wish you a great weekend, a very happy Hanukkah for those of you that are going to be celebrating Hanukkah and started that yesterday. I've been here with my colleague Vanita Bhatia from TCS World Travel, and we wish you all well. Very happy holidays and stay safe. Bye, Vanita. Great seeing you.
So much.